I know reading is hard, critically thinking as well, not necessarily the most popular thing, but I did want to take a moment to stress the importance of reading, okay? Sometimes, as it turns out, reading is good. Reading is tech, as we used to say in L5R. Read the card. What does this card do? Oh, it just says draw 2 cards. Cool, +1 card economy. Great, even. So, this VTuber by the name of Cupie, no affiliation, was just kind of scrolling, and I saw some pretty interesting advice that I was like, you know what, honestly, kind of cool with. So, verbatim, right, as we go through the post, right, words is written, words is spoken, right, what is on the page. Path to Twitch partner. Here are some basics. Run 3-minute ads. Stream 4 hours a day, 4 times a week. Yap all the time. Avoid too much music in the background. Collab, but collab less. Time to snooze ads. Understand your analytics. Choose a niche you like. Don't trend hop all the time. Rate after every stream. Build your brand over your personality. Be yourself. Don't be a bully. So, when we go through and read this, I honestly hard agree to probably like 80% of this. I think that this is solid advice. But the thing that I think a lot of people, unfortunately, didn't quite understand about this, and a few people were really giving some really negative feedback on this, is that this is a singular path. Absolutely. You can be Hawk to a girl and blow up out of nowhere and then just, do crypto things down the line. I don't know where that went. Let's be real. But if we look at this and we think about this, right, this is clearly an opinion piece, right? In any way, shape, or form that you look at this will be an opinion piece. Now, when we start going into if they are qualified or not, that's entirely different. But inherently coming across something like this online, especially anything soliciting advice in any capacity, especially legal or financial, because obvious reasons, right? Just treat it as opinion, right? So when I look at this, run 3-minute ads. I know a lot of you are sick of ads on Twitch. I don't necessarily know if I personally could comply with that. However, I think that this is a kind of a good rule of thumb, right? You want to make sure that you're, running ads, but you also want to make sure you're keeping them short enough to keep your audience retention, right? If I'm doing this conversation and you do, viewer, get an ad, you might be incentivized to, I have something better to do with my day. And that's why I think super invasive ads on Twitch are a problem. I actually miss the banner ads personally, but they don't get the clicks that they want, so hence why we don't. Stream 4 hours a day, 4 times a week. This is actually consistently the thing that I've seen come under fire. If you can't do it, right, you can't do it. So you can have a full-time job. You can have two full-time jobs. You can work 80, 90 hours a week, right? You could, I know some people were arguing, well, what happens if you have a disability? Or what happens if you're prevented from doing this? I'm going to tell you a secret. My health is god-awful. If I stream more than 20 hours in a week, I've actually been getting sick for the past several months. I am trying to do things to correct that. I am trying to take time away from my stream. I am trying to go out to SCA and stuff, right? Like, I'm trying to do things. But I think that's the key component, because I actually heard this a lot in the past, decade or so, right? If you have a limitation or a disability, that is perfectly fine and valid. Unfortunately, there are people, not on just the VTubing sphere, but on the internet, who do fake it. I think that until proven otherwise, it should always obviously be assumed, hi, this person has this struggle, this limitation, this disability. The other half of that, though, which I think a lot of people forget, is even if you have a disability, let's say you cannot walk, right? You have to function in some capacity, right? Like, at some point, you do have to live in what capacity that you can. It is working with your disability to overcome adversity and live your life. Let's take this from, the mental perspective, right? I got that TISM. I got that neurospicy, right? I know that I have certain limitations and struggles. I try to work with my limitations and struggles to overcome adversity and live my life, right? Pretty sure that's pretty reasonable stuff. But that point very specifically came under fire. Yap all the time that has to do with dead air. Do you want dead air? It's not bad sometimes. It really depends, honestly. Just going through these, I think we can agree this is all pretty reasonable stuff, right? So when I see responses to this post, and I had to block somebody earlier just because the block button at this point does still exist on Twitter. 100% use it. Like, I 100% use it. It comes under fire for being ableist and being mean and being, well, what if people can't do that? And it's like, this is I think all of us can come to the logical conclusion here by reading the words on the page. This is a way. This is not the way. You might look at this and go, path to Twitch partner. This is the de facto way, guaranteed to success. And I don't know how much of that is reading comprehension, critical thinking, and I don't know how much of that is societal conditioning, right? Like, we're so conditioned to certain things societally, like in the US and stuff, where it's always like the next get rich quick scheme, like crypto, right? You have people pitching things like Dink Doink, Hawk Coin, right? And it's like people quite literally took out mortgages, second mortgages, and bet their life savings on stuff like this for the idea that this will succeed and get big and then they'll profit off it. I don't know how much of it is there. I think there are far more people who are far more qualified to speak on that than I am. I have hypothesis. I cannot test hypothesis. Therefore, it remains hypothesis, right? Opinion. So I wanted to kind of go into a little bit of detail on this person as well, because they did end up having some follow-up. Anyways, a lot of controversial topics on how to grow on Twitch. So here's from someone who has a business management degree, helped business from the bottom up IRL, a VTuber manager, and content creator herself. Cool. I have no reason to doubt the authenticity of this. Now, absolutely, it's the internet. Anyone can say anything. I can say that, I own a Fortune 500 company. That doesn't make it true, right? But reasonably, I look at this. These are allegedly the credentials. We look at how this is structured. We look at how these things logically track, right? Don't be a bully. Don't be mean. Don't be mean to others. This does not mean I say, go raid Cupie's chat, right? Go raid her chat, and then I'm just like, wow, I don't like X. Or just, sure, get banned, Fivehead, right? Like, don't be a dick. For all intents and purposes, build your brand over your personality. I think that can be a subjective thing. What I do, I just talk. I kind of don't have a filter. It's a problem. But you get spicy moments like this, especially when people don't know how to read. Choose a niche you like. Once again, and what I do, I variety stream for all intents and purposes. If you're a League of Legends streamer, you will get a dedicated League of Legends audience, right? Especially if you're super legit John League of Legends, right? Like... and that's how that works. But at the same time, we do see this with things like Destiny 2, where when Destiny 2 or say Halo's on a downward trend, those channels suffer. Therefore, they try to branch out, and then you run into issues on YouTube with channels having their dedicated Boxy, the Gaijin Goomba 40k stuff, right? 100%. So I wanted to really kind of extrapolate this, because when they have to offer a clarification that if you cannot stream 4 hours a week due to obligations of work just looking after your family, you have to find something that works for you. My God. What? You mean you need to figure out what works for you to overcome adversity and live your life? Weird. It's almost like I said that earlier in the video without reading this specific comment. Just because I said something doesn't mean you can't grow. Everyone is different. This is why I put understand your analytics. Don't give up hope on your dreams. Be proud of the work you put in. There are a lot of streamers who only stream 2.5 hours and are doing really well. Focus in other areas. You can find what works for you as well. As a streamer, I do awful, 100%. That is not to demean you by any means, chat. I love you. You allow me to do things and able to batch out work over on Twitch over here, right? However, I think I can objectively say YouTube, specifically Kip Reacts, is the one that sees the most attention. And that's fine. That's understanding, hey, people want to see me talk about stuff all day. People want to see me talk about dumb things. People want to see me laugh about things. People want to see sometimes spicy Kip even, right? And that's fine. So we go back to the post, right? Understand your analytics. A self-referential citation. Wow, neat. It's almost like this person, from the way that they're speaking and how they're speaking, comes across as educated and intelligent. And because they put forward something that makes sense, sounds reasonable, and honestly offers enough for extrapolation and understanding, right? So if we talk about collab but collab less, you are streaming for you. You are not streaming to watch you and your friend do something. Absolutely, maybe GTA RP, something like working with your static in Destiny 2, Apex Legends, whatever, right? Something like that, sure. But why are they just not watching? So if I was to collab with someone, say, JoeCat, right? Why are you just not watching JoeCat? If there was a dual stream collab there, why are you watching me over watching JoeCat? That's not self-depreciating. That is, people are going to latch on to the personality who they like more, someone who they vibe with more, and that's perfectly fine. Build your brand over your personality. I think there is some subjectivity to that, but that's the thing. Saying just enough, hey, this is reasonable to extrapolate on this, right? So finishing off with that, so there was another comment here that I totally saw, but I didn't fully get through. There's exposure comments. There was one that was like super cool, but I can't find it for the life of me offhand. So sorry, certified Kip Dingus moment. However, what I want to say is CupieVT, excellent tweet. I'm sorry you got so much feedback from just absolute troglodytes who cannot read and cannot critically think, who see something and inherently have to pick it apart to have a fight. Now, I, dear chat, have picked this apart, but that is to showcase what a basic high school education can give you. To be able to intake information, to be able to understand the information, and even then to be able to retain the information, to be able to have discussions. It's literally not hard. Not reading, it's 2025. Not reading, not being able to critically think, not being able to express, like, understanding, familiarity with concepts and stuff, right? That's not an excuse. That's not an excuse anymore. Actual skill issue status, right? If I were to ask you, what do you not like about this post? Well, I don't like that this person says stream 4 hours a day, 4 times a week. Okay. Why? Well, I think that's wrong. What about people with disabilities? What about people who can't do this, right? Comment through down here. Something about streaming. Do most of these 3 to say times stream 3 times a day, but 5 times a week, can do about 3.5 hours before I give into mental fatigue. Fine, that's fine. I give into mental fatigue about 4 hours. I could go 13 depending on the game that I'm playing. Elite Dangerous, I've historically had like 13-hour streams. Everyone's different. Every situation is different. And that is not a critical comment. That's explanation of, oh, this is what I do. This is how I interact with this. So, at the end of the day, just read. Read. Comprehend. Critically understand information. We need to be harsher on people who cannot read. That's not to say to bully them. That's not to say harass them. That's not to say, this isn't a call to action, XYZ, ABC. This is if somebody cannot read, if somebody cannot do the absolute bare minimum, you are faced with a choice. You have the option to be courteous, to help them understand, to help them along so that they can come to a reasonable conclusion. Or, as it turns out, you can say, this is not worth my time. If we're going to have, say, a conversation about insert topic we've discussed before, insert macro topic, right? We'll do fat electrician, right? We'll do fat electrician and communism, right? Why am I going to talk to internet randoms about it? For all intents and purposes, right? Why is fat electrician going to talk to internet randoms who want to defend, well, it just hasn't been done right yet? Okay. Do you have the required understanding? Have you read the Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx? Have you done the required research to have this conversation? You've done neither of these? Why am I having this conversation? We don't have this conversation. End of story. Literally how that works. So, get good. If you can't read and critically think, that's a problem. You should probably address that. Speak to local educators. Speak to friends who are educated. Seek understanding. Certified mic drop moment. Have a good one.